United States of America. This is Smart Madu Ajaja, the convener of Open Nigeria and Africa Unite, and the anchor of Nigeria Now at ONN and the Nightingale Radio International. How you all doing? It's cold here. Very, very cold in Houston, Texas. Very, very cold. But we are dealing with it. How are you doing in Nigeria? How are you doing elsewhere? Great. Please join us in this very special edition of ONN. Yes, today we're going to be talking about the story, what is taking place in Nigeria. Nigeria is not doing so well. Nigeria is not doing well at all. Yeah, the country that I love so much, the country is not doing well at all. Evil men have taken over. They are not afraid anymore. They don't care what anybody does or says. They don't care about the people and how they feel. Millions of our compatriots in Nigeria go to bed on empty stomachs as we speak. Yes, the Nigerian elites have declared a war against the poor in Nigeria, against the ordinary people of Nigeria. But sadly, the people are so poor to understand that a war has been declared against them. Yeah, our people suffer from Stockholm syndrome. Yes, they celebrate those who are destroying them. But we have to find a way to get them to understand that things are not normal, that their reactions to these situations is not good. We have to find a way. Some people, I was talking to someone yesterday. He said we have to, in order to get the people on our side, we have to economically empower them. That is true. Yes, the people need economic empowerment, economic empowerment. They need to have a way to survive. So they can't be so hungry and abdicate their responsibilities to their country. But now here I am. The people, what is most important to them now is food. I am sharing the small that I have with a lot of people in Nigeria, to the point that I get broke a lot of times. As we speak, if I show you my phone number, you see, people have been calling me frantically. Yes, people who have no way of surviving ahead of today. Yes, a lot of things about Nigeria is not being reported because the media in Nigeria is part of the problem. They have been censored and they don't tell the people of the world and the people of Nigeria exactly what is happening to their country. Yesterday, a cream of Nigerian elites gathered at the home of Nigeria's former dictator, Ibrahim Babangida. Yes, to launch his book about his service. I don't know who he served, but that is going to be a topic on its own. Perhaps in another couple of days, we are going to x-ray what he called service. He went there and took time to donate billions for the construction of his library, where he's going to populate his lies and his legacy of lies and destruction of the country. Yes. Yesterday, Boko Haram took a break from bombing. No death was reported from killings by Boko Haram. And you know what that means? So it means that those people who gathered at his home are the masterminds of Boko Haram. If Boko Haram had an organized mission, what they wanted, which has been an illusion for the most part of it, none of us understand what they want. It would have been a lot easier. So these people put all this together to disorder the country, to blackmail and scare the hell out of the people of Nigeria from asking them to account for their service to Nigeria. They went there as of yesterday. They had donated about 16 billion naira. That's a lot of money when converted into dollar. Even if the country's currency is now a whitewash. The same problem. I want to take you back to the history of Nigeria, a little bit of history of Nigeria. Nigeria became independence, Greek gift of independence. They told us that we're independent, but we are chained in poverty. What kind of independence do Nigerians have, or the African people have? We don't have no independence. All right. For the records, they said they gave us independence on October 1st, 1960. 6 years after, Major Kaduna Nzeogwu, the former director of military intelligence at the time, discovered a wholesome plan to invade Nigeria by the grandson of Madam Fodio, who was the premier of northern Nigeria. And his name was Ahmadu Bello. Yes. At independence, he made a hate speech against the Igbos. Very terrible hate speech. In my own opinion, and what I hold so dear and very seriously to my heart, is that the man was the man who fired the first bullet that hit Nigeria in the head and then distorted the country's thinking capacity. That's what led us to where we are. So this northern nationalism started growing, like competing with an overall Nigerian nationalism. So it looks like we had two countries. One was, okay, the Nigeria that had the map of Nigeria, that had the sovereignty of Nigeria. But there's another competing Nigerian, they called Northern Nigeria. Yes, with an evil spirit. That evil spirit is the evil spirit that has been haunting Nigeria. It's a very bad spirit. The spirit is wicked, is insane, is insensitive, inhumane, ignorantly arrogant or arrogantly ignorant, divisive, repressive, oppressive, abusive, and hypocritical. That's what defines that spirit. And those who drive the spirit are the descendants of Usman Dan Fodio, the man who created a jihad in 1804 that wiped out the Hausa kingdoms in Nigeria, or in what became Nigeria, about 221 years ago. They destroyed the kingdoms, killed all their kings, killed all their kings, and then enthroned their own kings and imposed their ways on the people, the whopping majority. And the people who did this were like less than 1% of the population. As we speak, the tradition is still ongoing in the north of Nigeria, where the Hausas have their kingdoms. Everywhere there is a major Hausa kingdom, there's a Fulani man with ties to Usman Dan Fodio as the king there. Yes, in other words, what we are dealing with in that part of Nigeria is apartheid, minority rule. Yes, of the people, and they wrap it around Islam. All right, and they tell them, okay, we are Muslims, we are brothers. But how will a Muslim brother be destroying another fellow Muslim brother? They kill them, they rape their women, they dispossess them of their farms, and make them subservient. What I mean, subjugated, if you know the meaning of subjugation. If you are listening right now, go to Google subjugation. You know the worst form of repression. Millions of the Hausa people have no education. This minority tyrannical minority, despotic minority that rules the people through its feudalistic oligarchy are in charge of everything. They are the governors. Whenever you say that a northern governor is most likely to be a Fulani man. The senators from the north of Nigeria are majorly Fulanis. The members of the House of Representatives are majorly Fulanis. Everything. So they they have emasculated the Hausa population. The Hausas are good only enough to provide the population that the Fulanis use. Osman Danfodio Fulani, let me qualify it, because there are good Fulanis, very good Fulanis, that have nothing to do with Osman Danfodio's crazy jihad. They came before, and when you see them, they are moderate. They go to church, they go to mosque, they are able to mingle with the people. Yes, they don't discriminate. I have one, I have many as my friends. Blue Baron, I am not a politician. I am an activist. I speak truth to power, and I'm not scared of anyone. And that is, Nigeria is in danger. We need to rescue Nigeria. That is the mission that I am on now. I am a campaigner for open Nigeria with free, fair, equal, unlimited, and unconditional access to opportunity to every Nigerian to grow and develop, progress and prosper according to his or her levels of competency and abilities. Yes, that is what we are working on. Unfortunately, today, that is not the case with Nigeria, and that is what we want to change. They made that country a hell on earth, the country with everything in it, the country with just everything, abundant mineral and natural resources, great diversity of people. This infinitesimal minority has been holding our people hostage for a very long time. Yes, they destroy everything, but I'm coming. Let me give you the analogy of what has happened to Nigeria. So they put the Hausa majority in captivity. Minority. See, the Hausa population in Nigeria is a great population, a major population in Nigeria. You know, these guys hide behind Islam to use them to hold the whole of Nigeria down. They lie to them that their poverty is created by Allah. All the traditional rulers, they are not traditional rulers, because you cannot be a traditional ruler over a people who do not share the same tradition with you. Yes, but they force themselves and call themselves traditional rulers. They shadow the Hausa people out of contention. Yes, their majority population is useless because they have no capacity. All the capacity is in the hands of this minority crazy Fulani elites. Yes, that is what is happening. Now, when Nigeria became independence in 1962, they brought this evil to bear on the new nation. Yes, all the state governors, everything, they cornered everything to themselves, to the detriment of other Nigerians from that north of the country. So, and then when that happens, it negatively impacts the country as a whole. They set our country back. Yes, every time they will be telling us to wait for them. Nigeria's independence was delayed because of them for 3 years. Nigeria was supposed to become independent in 1957. We delayed it for 3 years to wait for them to be ready. We didn't know what they were cooking with the British. The British want the people that they could manipulate. So they handed power over to these crazy Fulani elites. Yes, because they were the ones that they could manipulate. People from other parts of the country, where those who truly fought for the independence of Nigeria, were sidelined because they were asking too many questions. So the British were and have been are still playing a double standard in Nigeria. They have a dark relationship with them, and then come back to come and open embassies, embassy with which they deal with the whole of Nigeria. Yes, Britain. Nigeria must do what America did to Britain, to severe links and set the people free. But we will need a pan-Nigerian movement, an organization. Yeah, people of Nigeria who are liberated, including Fulanis who are liberated, to come to terms with what Britain has done in Nigeria. They are divisive. They want to keep the country divided, so they continue to steal from us and then come around and say they are giving us aid. How will 83 million, a country with populated by 87 million people, British population is about 87 million people, how will that country be giving me aid? Me, from a country of 250 million people, with all the abundant mineral and natural resources in there. That is the story of the black man. That is the story of Nigeria. And that is what we must end now. They use the Fulanis as prongs to hold Nigeria down. The country is at a point where it's going to explode. We went through this same thing between 1967 and 1970. So let's go to what happened. What angered what angered a young military officer and the director of military intelligence in 1960 invaded the Hausa land so they can take Nigeria and turn it into an Islamic state. Nigeria is a secular state. I'm a Rasta. I'm not a Christian. There are people from who have other religions. These people want to emasculate the whole of Nigeria and force their brand of violent Islam on Nigeria. That is the mission that their forefather, Osman Fodio, he left them a script that they must fight until they put the Quran right in the Atlantic, the last town in Nigeria before the Atlantic Ocean. It's a mission. Every generation tries, they push it. And they have been pushing it. And they are pushing it right now as we speak. Our country has been circled by mercenaries. Yes, Fulanis from across West Africa. Yes, driven by this obnoxious and violent Islamic ideology. Yes. So that is the thing. So when Nzeogwu discovered that, he had to rally because they were about to unleash. So he rallied. Some soldiers, including some Fulani soldiers, who did not like what this brand of criminal rogue Fulanis were doing. They joined Nzeogwu and staged a coup in 1966 on the banners of the Nigerian Armed Forces, not on the banners of anything ethnic. The coup succeeded. And their kingpin, Ahmadu Bello, the man who was behind the spin to overthrow Nigeria and run the country down, was in the process killed. All right. But there were some forces inside the army, chiefly Agui Ironsi, who is an Igbo man, Odumegwu Ejukwu, who was a commanding officer in Kano. They did not want a coup at the time. They were able to convince the striking young majors, led by Major Nzeogwu, all right, to lay down their arms, so they can work out a way to push the country forward. Because the country was really going crazy with corruption. The new country, there was a war between two politicians in the southwest of Nigeria, Obafemi Awolowo and Ladoke Akintola. Obafemi Awolowo was a statesman by his right, And Akintola was a stooge of Ahmadu Bello. He was the one that Ahmadu Bello was using to create confusion in the southwest of Nigeria. That was what led to the coup that Nzeogwu and his people, they wanted to use the southwest to launch as a launch pad for their Islamic jihad. Many Nigerians don't know this because the media we took the story the way they wanted and they called it an Igbo coup. And they did not itemize the names of all the people who took place in that coup, including the Fulanis there. The only names that struck was the Igbos. How many were the Igbos actually? I think 2 or 3 of them. Where were the other people from? They were silent on that. The Nigerian media has been a corrupt media. That is why I don't deal with them. They will write 2 stories. One, according to the money they are paid, one near the truth. Nigerian media is useless. Nigerian media has been part of Nigeria's problem. All right. So they created this narrative. Then in the confusion that arose, the prime minister was killed. Tafawa Balewa, sadly, a good man who could, very articulate man. But, when there is a coup, Balewa was murdered. And then somebody had to fill the vacuum. And he became one man, General Agui Ironsi, an outstanding military officer who fought in the Congo to bring about peace in Congo. He had no choice. He didn't want to be head of state. He was a head of state by accident. Then they made him head of state. Now he had a problem. He had a big task, uniting a country that was broken. So he did what he could to unite the country, because these northern elements had always wanted to leave Nigeria. They were the first to want to leave Nigeria. It was the British that convened against leaving Nigeria, because if they left Nigeria, they'll be left with nothing. They don't have anything, so they empowered them to hold our country hostage. So Agui Ironsi took over. Within 6 months, they planned their own coup, their northern Nigerian coup. Yes, their northern Nigerian coup. They ambushed Agui Ironsi, who was on a state visit to the western region at the time. Yes, the western region at the time. They cornered him there, killed him, and killed his host Major Brigadier Fajui. Yes, a very, 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 very patriotic Nigerian. He offered himself. He said, "You cannot kill my guest. If you want to kill him, you gotta have to kill me too." He offered himself, sacrificed himself. I don't know how many Nigerians can do that anymore in Nigeria of today. A very corrupt country right now. Morally bankrupt elites of Nigeria. Adekunle Fajoyi offered himself. They killed him. And they took Agui Ironsi, took him to a nearby bush and shot him and killed him. Who killed him? Danjuma, Muhammadu Buhari, Ibrahim Babangida. They were all in there. That was how they brought Gowon. They brought Gowon. The Gowon will lie. He's still living right now. He lied that he did not know anything about the coup. Gowon, his name is Jacob. In order to fit into the agenda, he had to change his name from Jacob to Yakubu. All right? Yakubu in Islamic nomenclature means Jacob. He changed his name. All right? Theophilus Danjuma, Friday means Juma. All right? That's how. And they played into this narrative that they are Northerners. We are Northerners. I think later now, Danjuma started finding out how much of no Northerner he is, or he has been. All right? They came and they made a Gowon head of state. 1975. 1966. And then things spiraled out of control. They started killing the Igbos en masse in the north of Nigeria and parts of the west of Nigeria, including some areas in the Niger Delta. Yes. They came to my Niger Delta under the Nigerian Army Armed Forces banner and told the people of Niger Delta that they will protect them against the Igbos. The Niger Deltans and the Igbos are next door neighbors. They have never been in any fight. There has never been any known hateful thing. I'm not saying that people don't disagree. There has not been anything of a large scale. They played these brothers against themselves. What were they looking for? They were looking for the control of the oil in Niger Delta. At the time, oil had been discovered. Yes. Yes. Now, who did they use in the Niger Delta? You hear the story of Ken Saro-Wiwa. Ken Saro-Wiwa was put up for the play. They appointed Ken Saro-Wiwa as the administrator of Bonny, which later became River State. All right? And he grabbed the opportunity. I don't know what they guaranteed, they gave to him to make him accept that. So he went as the administrator of Bonny, making inroad into the Niger Delta became easier for them because he was their stooge and their anchor there. So they came and launched an amphibious attack and then came into the heartland of Igbos and committed some of the worst mayhem that nobody recorded except those who saw it live. Gowon is supposed to be a war criminal. Muhammadu Buhari is supposed to be a war criminal for the heinous crime against humanity that he committed. Ibrahim Babangida is supposed to be a war criminal. Many of them, Obasanjo is supposed to be a war criminal. Yes. But they went all that and got scot-free and got away with it because they had the backing of Imperial Europe led by Britain, France, and the other countries. Yes. The Igbos had their own. After the massacre, they returned en masse. Those who remained returned en masse to the east. And there were negotiations. Ojukwu became really angry about what was happening. And then he was forced. The situation at the time forced him to take charge of the leadership of the region of where the Igbos are. All right? They went to Ghana, Accra, Aburi in Ghana, to negotiate a way out of what was looming to become a fire, a conflagration. They reached an agreement, and everybody was happy that a major disaster was about to be averted in Nigeria. But no, these people will not have it. As soon as Gowon landed, things changed. He reneged on all the agreements reached, and they fired the first shot. And when it was over in 1970, over 5 million Nigerians of Igbo extraction, including children and women, were massacred. I don't know anywhere on earth where that large-scale genocide took place, and nobody was held accountable. Nobody. So Gowon was head of state of Nigeria up until 1975, when he went to an Organization of African Unity conference in Kampala, Uganda. And then Murtala Mohammed, a perfect a perfect match, a perfect fit for his job, overthrew him. So from Kampala, he moved to UK, where he was on exile for many years. Then Murtala was there short-lived. A counter coup took place from among them. Those who were believers in the north, from Gowan's part of the north, led by Bukasuka Dinka. Yes. Now it is interesting before I go to what happened to Murtala Mohammed. Murtala Mohammed was a devious, demonic war criminal who massacred people in my place in present-day Delta, Asaba. He nearly killed every male in Asaba. He was lining them up to kill them like chickens every day. Very wicked man, Murtala Mohammed. Yes, every day he was lining men. He depleted Asaba of males. As we speak today, that problem is still there. Not enough males in Asaba. He took time to clean them out. Why? Because he called them Igbos. He hated Igbos with passion. Just like Muhammadu Buhari hated Igbos with passion. Like Amadou Bello hated Igbos with passion. Like most Fulani elites hate the Igbos with passion. I've been in environments where they know, like, okay, they say, oh, I'm not an Igbo man. They will open up to me and tell me what is like a written constitution that they will never allow an Igbo man to lead here. What did the Igbos do to these people? They have not, because the Igbos are the only ones in Nigeria. They are the only group in Nigeria who will raise up their fingers to ask questions. The point got them into trouble is that they did not play like other ethnic groups in Nigeria were playing, keeping quiet and waiting for crumbs to fall out from the Fulanis, these criminal, rogue, elitist Fulanis. Yes. The Igbo man is going to ask you a question. That is the problem. So that's why, for that reason, Nigeria hates them. They want to kill them at any opportunity. They want to sit on them. And they have been doing that, and they are still doing that. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. Yeah, there are some stupid Igbo men too, Igbo politicians, like the ones black Americans call house niggers here. All right, they will do anything to get what they want, including selling their own people. They exist, and one of them was one who donated 500 million naira to this crazy group they call Babangida yesterday. I'm not going to talk about his stupid name. All right. So you have them. So this killing continued until 1970. Okay, I'm coming about. 1970 ended when Gowon declared no victor, no vanquish. All right. Now there was need for all of us to come back and be one Nigeria, one brother and one sisters. After they massacred over 5 million Igbo people, he declared 3 R's. All right? Reintegration. And all the other ones. Rehabilitation. And reconstruction. Go to the Igbo land today. The relics of war is still there. They did not reconstruct anything. They made sure that they cut them off from the mainstream of Nigeria. What has been surviving the Igbos is just because of their creative ingenuity. That is like it's in their gene to survive where others fail. Otherwise, the plan they had was to completely destroy them. As we speak right now, there's an active war against the Igbos going on. Yes. Young Igbos are being murdered by the crazy, Fulani-driven Nigerian armed forces that is shy of fighting Boko Haram, but very, very efficient with killing Nigerian citizens. defenseless and harmless Nigerians. They did that recently in Delta State, in Okwama, where they sacked the whole village, destroyed the whole place, and arrested a lot of citizens there. As we speak, 3 of them have died in detention. Yes, and nobody is held accountable. Why should we be having this type of country? So when in 1975, 1976, a counter coup took place against Murtala Mohammed, and he was shot at, and he died with his head cut off, deserving punishment for a war criminal. He died. He deserves it. I celebrate his death because he killed my people. He killed them mercilessly. He was very wicked. He was very ruthless. And you know what? His family is suffering the spiritual consequences of his wickedness. Some of his children died under very bad situations. Yes, God is not stupid. He lives. When you are wicked, you cut off people's life, you take their blood. Yes, he died a horrible man. So that coup of 1976 did not quite succeed. That was how Obasanjo became head of state. Obasanjo, a Yoruba man. Became head of state. He did a there was an election in 1979. The man he hated so much, Awolowo, he hated him so much. They brought about the 2/3 counts, and the rest is history. Then another Fulani man became head of state, Shehu Shagari. I don't want to talk about the political maneuvers that brought the Shagari into power from the NPN angle. Abiola was again sidelined. That was the first shocker he received as a Nigerian, aspiring to be president of Nigeria. They told him that Nigeria was not for sale. All right, but Nigeria was good enough for a rudderless Fulani man with ties to Othman and Fodio. So in all, we have had 13 heads of states have led Nigeria. Out of the 13, 10 came from this minority group. Yes, 10. In a country, yeah, minority. The population of the Fulanis put together is not up to 1% of the country's population. But they devised a way. Wow, I give it to them. How they devised a way to really destroy a country and seize all of its institutions. All strategic institutions in Nigeria are in their hands. When they call for politics tomorrow, you see how they before you know it, people from everywhere are lining behind them. Not because they have this ability to lead. They led Nigeria into ruins. They come in the name of the North, but they give absolutely nothing to the people of the North. The biggest thieves that have destroyed Nigeria are Fulanis. Elitist Fulanis. I am not saying all Fulanis are thieves. These criminal elitist Fulanis, they are the biggest thieves. They are the biggest hypocrites. And that is why Nigerians must unite to stop them from coming to power. Did you hear what I said? Nigerians must unite to stop this brand, this species of Fulani. I didn't say every Fulani. There's a special Fulani. They are this species with ties to Othman and Fodio. Nigerians must stop them from coming to power. They are the nemesis of Nigeria. They are the reason Nigeria is struggling. They are the reason Nigeria is stuck. People are afraid of saying it. I don't say anything that is politically correct. I am saying what I only say things that are morally correct. So you can go to hell if you don't like what I'm saying. I don't appease anybody. My business is with Nigeria. My work is centered around the well-being of Nigeria and the Nigerian people. I don't care about any stupid idiot driven by religious extremism and hypocrisy, God that you don't know. Yes. So now people say something. In fact, looking at the book launch of Babangida, I don't want to talk about it now because it's a special case that we are going to handle. Those who were responsible for the annulment of the June 12th election, the best election ever conducted anywhere on earth, and the cost was minimal. Everybody voted from their heart. They lined behind their candidates. Yes, and you could tell that these are the people who voted from their heart. America could not even conduct that type of election. No electronic was involved. Simple. And the creative ingenuity of an Igbo man, Professor Humphrey Nwosu, he was the one responsible for getting the June 12th election. Perfect, perfect, perfect. You needed to see the harmony in Nigeria. No life was lost. No life was lost. No ballot box was snatched. Everybody came. Show me your leader. Starting from your community. Everybody knows everybody. The whole thing, it was a movement. It was a revolution of an election. It was. It was. Everybody. The race started from your community. The candidate will line up and people will line behind him. Everybody knows everybody. If you can vouch for the character of this man, line behind him. Nobody lined behind evil people. Their lines were deserted. Nigerians went behind those they believed that could lead them. Those that they believed could relate with them. And that was the beauty of that election. Look at what came out. The outcome was perfect. The outcome. Everybody was elected. Senator, member of House of Assembly, member of House of they merited to be elected. But when it got to the president, they had a different ball game. But Nigerians told them, for once, we have had enough of your nonsense in Nigeria. You are a minority in Nigeria. You cannot dictate to us what we do. They went, lined behind Abiola. Abiola won that election. Clean, clear. It wasn't like Abiola was a perfect human being. It wasn't, if you ask me, he wasn't a good man. But he won the election. You can't take it from him. He won. He won the election clean, clear. The best election ever conducted on earth was won by election. By God forbid, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Abiola won that election. Because he was not a candidate of theirs. They are not. Not the whole North that we know. They are not. They are hypocritical North. They are extremism North. They are intolerant North. They are savage North. Yes, driven by the evil spirit that we must exercise. It didn't go down well with them. So they put a spanner in the wheel. Yes. And then, like Babangida said, the emirs, Fulani emirs in the north, Fulani religious leaders, Fulani politicians, because everything is controlled by them. Minority, really. Apartheid system in Nigeria. Apartheid. I denounce it. I will not be subjected to that apartheid rule. And that is why I'm telling you, every Nigerian listening to me, from the north, south, east, and west, it is time. It is time for us to stand up and end the apartheid in Africa, in Nigeria. We beat apartheid in South Africa. Nigeria invested a lot of money to the extent that Nigeria was named a frontline state because of the threat it posed to the apartheid infrastructure in South Africa, that Nigeria was about to be tried. And I remember one historic thing that Nigeria did, stopping Kissinger. They denied him land and right in Nigeria. Yes, he had to go find somewhere. U.S. Secretary of State. When Nigeria was really on the way to being Nigeria. Nigeria told him, you cannot land, you cannot use our airspace. Yes. That's challenging America. Nigeria was on the way. These crazy Usman and Fodio children put spanner, they'll bring evil from Saudi Arabia, bring from all over that place. We want to, now France is their partner. We want to destroy our country. Yes. That's how we ended up where we are. All the coups that followed Nzeogwu's coup were all driven by Fulanis. But none of them was described as a Fulani coup. The stupid Nigerian media, the evil Nigerian media. I hate Nigerian media. I don't want to do anything with them. No. I don't want to do anything with the Nigerian media. The most corrupt media on earth is found in Nigeria. All of Nigeria's institutions are corrupt. The military is corrupt because it's not a military of the Nigerian people. It's a military remotely controlled for the benefit of the Fulanis. A military that does not fight Boko Haram, but can fight ordinary people on the streets. Yes, that is not a military. That military will have to be dismantled when the people of Nigeria take over their country. And we are going to do it. So that is why you planning, talking about 2027 an election. Why are you planning an election? How are you going to win? On what platform are you going to run the election? What electoral laws have you put in place to win an election? Yes, in which a rogue is holding power right now. He has his hand backed by these criminals. We have to dismantle them first. Yeah, that is we have to dismantle them first before we can talk about it. We don't need an election. We need a revolution. We need a rebellion against the Nigerian system. Break that system so that Nigeria will be free and the people will be liberated. That is what any sensible Nigerian should be talking about, and not an election. How are you going to run the election? How are you going to win the election? Who are the candidates in the election? So my dear fellow Nigerians, we have work to do. You want to continue to live like slaves in your country? Just slaves, not just slaves to a minority. Yes. Who don't care about Nigeria? Who don't care about you? Whose allegiance are divided? Are you aware that Muhammadu Buhari is from Niger? A Nigerian came and ruled your country for over 10 years. He came first as a military head of state in 1983. He was there until 1986. Yes, 3 years. And then he came back as a politician, ruled you for 8 years. Something is wrong with you, Nigerians. Something is wrong with our head. Yes. Atiku that is running want to be president all his life. He's a Cameroonian. His brother, I hear, is in the Senate in Cameroon. He's not a Nigerian. Yes. So what is wrong with you? Okay, there are those who say themselves they are not Satana. You talk about I'm a Satana. Where's your South? Where's the headquarters of the South? Who are your leaders in the South? Yes, tell me the leaders in the South. Have they ever sat down together to say this is what we want? But every time there's anything going on, especially like an election is coming in Nigeria, what do we hear? Not an interest. The North does not want this person. Who the fuck is this there? The North does not want. But I've never heard people say the South does not want this one. You see, we have been validating this apartheid infrastructure in Nigeria. So foolish a people. Yes, we are so afraid. We are concerned about how the North feel. Not that they represent anybody in the North. We are concerned about but the people who don't care about how you feel. You care about how they are elite, the corrupt elites with ties to Madam Fodio. Yes, the destroyer, the killers of Hausa people, the abusers, the rapists. You care about them. But they don't care about, they don't give a fuck about you. Yes, we have to change that mindset. I want Nigeria to work. I want an open Nigeria. And that is why I'm at the forefront of driving the message of open Nigeria. I've been a victim of Nigeria on many occasions. I've been a victim of Nigeria on many occasions. You want to see something? Let me show you something right here. You see this mark here? You see this mark here? You know why I am the way I am? I was stabbed in Kano, 1991. I am not a Christian. I don't have a problem with those who are. But when you live in that part of Nigeria, everybody is a Christian. And once you are a Christian, you are sentenced to death. When any little thing happens. Reinhard Bonnke, a German preacher, came to Kano to preach. He did not come to preach to Muslims. He came to Sabongeri where people from other places, you know, that's another thing in our country. When you go and live in the north, they carve out a place for you because you are so impure. Because you are so impure. You are so impure. You are not clean enough. Can you imagine? You are not clean enough to live among them. They carve out a place, they call it Sabongeri. Sabongeri is where Nigerians from other places live. And then, you know, they live right. You know, enjoy whatever they are used to in their places. But the other places are mostly off limits. You can't go and live there. Yes. So Reinhard Bonnke came to preach his gospel of Jesus Christ. So when he arrived, I don't know if he was even able to do anything. They were still setting up a stage for the whatever they call it crusade to start. And all of a sudden, these people unleashed. They started killing people unprovoked. They started killing fellow Nigerians. They started killing them. They killed and killed and killed. I was working as a nurse, a registered nurse, serving them at the National Orthopedic Hospital, Kano. So we're hearing this whole thing about killing. So when I got off work, I wanted to go back to my place. I stopped a taxi. I boarded the taxi. My own country. I boarded the taxi. We got somewhere. This taxi man told me, no, I'm not going anymore. You need to come down. Soka? Yeah, Soka means in Hausa, get down, get out of my car. Soka down, Soka. I said, why you telling me to Soka here? The man just looked at me and then he said, Soka, now. Oh my God. So I disembarked. What I saw in front of me was horrifying. I saw thousands of people with different types of weapons. I'm a miracle. I am a miracle. I think what I'm doing, it was meant to be. What I'm doing right now was meant to be. I was saved for this day. And that is why I'm going to use every energy in me, everything that I have to deliver this message to the people of Nigeria. Nobody can touch me. So I saw these people with different, some with axes, cutlasses, all kinds of dangerous axes, dangerous weapons. They were chanting and singing. So all of a sudden, I didn't know where I was anymore. I don't know what happened. I truly don't know. I've been trying to find out what happened. I did not know what happened. The next thing I saw, where I saw myself was at the university campus, BUK, Bayero University, Kano. That was where I saw myself. The campus had been deserted. I saw some things, destruction here. I spent like 30 minutes there trying to calculate how to escape, make the next move. Then I left the Bayero University campus. I started walking beside the ancient Kano wall. That kind of wall is over 1,500 years old. And there's a rail line alongside it. So I started following the rail line. Then I started seeing dead bodies, burnt vehicles. But there was nothing I could do done to be this type of the kind of courage that I had. I can't even describe it. Some kind of strange courage came over me. I started marching until I got to a place they call Gandu Albansa. I veered out. That's on the way to where I live, Gandu Albansa. Then I got to Gowon's estate. That was where I saw another group of young little children. Now they saw me and they started charging at me. They said, Gashina, Gashina, Gashina. See another one. Gawoni, Gawoni. They started. So I had to fight my way out of them till I was able to make it home. I got home. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to go. And there was a young man who lives, and his name is Aminu. Aminu is his name. He's a Fulani young man. A Fulani young man who has lived in Lagos. At least he has a clear understanding of living with people. Nice guy, looking guy. You could code conversation with him. So I told Aminu, with all these things that is going on, can I put up with you so that I can be safe? Aminu told me no. That if they came, that he would hand me over to them. Yes, that scared the shit out of me. Yes, Aminu. I wish he can see me saying this. He told me that if they came, that he would hand me over to them so that they would kill me. So I said, okay. I left. I didn't say anything to him, and I didn't beg him. I didn't pressure him. I left. And it was a good thing that he told me, because he could have accepted me, and then when they came, I hand me over to them. So I devised a way to find somewhere to sleep. And they came. They came for they came. They knew someone like me was living there. But when they came, I was not there. I was watching them ransack my house. They took what they wanted to take. They did not see me. And then I was where I was until the morning. In the morning, I tried to leave. When I came out, I saw some young boys too started charging at me. So I ran back into the compound. After a while, I came out again. I saw a young man marching. So I stopped him. So we started talking. He started telling me about his own story, what he went through in his own area. So we became buddies and started trekking towards Sabongeri, where they had, where all the people that they call us strangers in our land, Kano, Nigeria, in our land. They call me stranger in my own country. America has never called me stranger in America. Since I came here, I lived in Houston. I've lived in Houston for nearly 30 years. Never has anybody disrespected me that much. I don't care what Donald Trump is doing today, but I've never been so badly treated. So me and this young man, we started, we almost made it. And they grabbed him. All of a sudden, some people rushed him and grabbed him and then slit his throat. Right where I was. Right where I was. The police was watching. Police who are speaking Hausa, they were watching this whole thing. This young man being slaughtered. And then when they finished with him, they came for me. That was when somebody stabbed me here. I used this to take it. That was the reason you saw the scar on my hand. I took the dagger from him, and that was all I knew. I didn't know anything else. And then somewhere along the line, I found myself in one strange place again. And then a woman held me by my waist, telling me, you are bleeding, look at your clothes are all drenched in blood. So I look at my hand. My pants was full of blood. So she took me to her place and cleaned my wound, put something on it. She gave me some food. My hands were jerking that the plate of rice fell off and the plate shattered. She told me, calm down, my brother is a soldier, he's going to come get us. When he comes, I'll make sure that he takes you along with us. You know, and a few minutes later, I told her, excuse me, I went downstairs, I saw a river behind her house. That's why I jumped into the river and swam. I came out at a place where I discovered was the Air Force base in Kano. Come on, people, you see thousands of Nigerians with different horrifying stories about how their family members were destroyed. Yes, I saw this. It's not something anybody is telling me. These people are very wicked. They are the problem Nigeria has. They are the problem. They are so savage. We can't have them running Nigeria anymore. And that is why I tell those, when you are playing politics, you better be careful of the kind of politics you play. You can never play good politics with them, because their way is not your way. The way they are thinking is not the way you are thinking. They are very repressive, very arrogant, very ignorant, very savage, very abusive, very oppressive, and they think that they are better than anybody, even when it is clear that they are not as good. Yes, that's what they put in their mind. And our people, for some strange reasons, accepted that. Everybody is scared of them. Oh, they will kill you. They will tell. Yes, we have to fight back and let them know that they don't just can't kill. That mindset, and they take advantage of that, the people of Nigeria are scared of them. So we have to build a generation that will not be afraid of them. It should be this generation where I am to stop this nonsense. That was what happened. I was in the School of Orthopedic Nursing. As soon as I graduated, I had to leave Kano. My country, your country, Nigerians. And the second thing that happened to me, and that one happened earlier. I'm a nurse. There was a position for an industrial nurse at NMPC in Hotoro, Kano. I applied for that job. I was invited for an interview. I went to the interview. I was the best candidate in the interview. After all said and done, somebody pulled me aside and said to me, we can't give you this job. Then I asked him why. He said, because I'm from Bender State at the time. Bender State. At the time, Nigeria had 19 states. I think, yeah, Bender was one. Yes. They said our quota had been filled. So they allocate quotas every state. It doesn't happen here in the United States. If you are the best, you are the best. It doesn't matter where you come from. I worked at MD Anderson Cancer Hospital. Yes, a high-profile hospital here. When I was applying, somebody told me it's a white-only hospital. I told them, no, get out from there. I will apply. I applied. I was invited for the interview. I excelled in the interview, and I was accepted. Given the job, given the training, and put to work at the thoracic oncology department of that hospital. That was where I was until I found my own private business that I started doing. Yes, in my country, Nigeria, where I was born 62 years ago, I was rejected. I was denied access to opportunity. My country, and the oil that they are talking about, oil from my backyard. I'm in Niger Delta. NNPC, what made NNPC is a company formed to administer the oil from Niger Delta, where I come from. But I was denied employment. They told me if I were from Kano, they were waiting for someone from Kano, and perhaps the man from Kano was not born yet, because we didn't see any candidate from Kano, because they didn't have, they denied the people education. So now the people have to suffer, and not having access to the type of special qualification that I had to do the job for the workers in NNPC at that place. So that was how I was not given that job. And somebody told me that your name is Mado. Why not add ahead of Amado, so you become Ahmado and become a Muslim? I should become a Muslim in order for me to get a job. What the fuck is that? Why should I become a Muslim against my wish because I want a job? I won't be a good Muslim if I did that. So I told them no, they can keep the job. They can keep the job. And I tell you, that is still happening in Nigeria. Are you aware that Nigerians who go to the north of Nigeria to work, they are hired as contract workers? They are hired on contracts. In their country, they are hired on contracts. In their country, their job is not pensionable. In Nigeria, yes. But I've worked in Ohio. I've worked in California. I've worked in so many places in Texas. Nobody put me on contract. None. And all the jobs I did are all pensionable jobs. We have a problem in Nigeria. Yes. A country where after 64 years, you are still telling me that the president has to be from somewhere and the vice has to be somewhere, and that now we are talking about Muslim ticket. Look at what they did to Nigeria. They said those Christians cannot protect a country. That's that idiot they call a Gumi. Look at where our country is with Muslim. Nigeria needs to be demolished and for rebuilding. This country we have is fake. It's very fake. It's killing people. The people need to be saved. And the people must rise up. I am talking not just I'm talking Nigeria. Nigerians from everywhere need to rise up to define a country, because the country is fake. And that is why we are talking. I'm a Pan-Africanist. Nigeria is the reason why Africa is not uniting. That Nigeria is the reason why Africa is not moving forward, to actualize the vision of our founding fathers about the unification of Africa behind one state, United States of Africa. It is Nigeria that is the obstacle that they have because of the corrupt and criminal leadership in Nigeria. Nigeria is a crime scene, and it's sad. I am a proud Nigerian, but I'm not proud to be a Nigerian. I'm not proud of the Nigeria that we have right now. Something needs to give, and that thing must give now. We don't have a lot of time to make it happen, now or never. Goodbye. And thank you all those who tuned in, to be part of this program. This is a very tough topic. I know some of my global audience, you don't understand that's why I took time to educate you about the history, so you'll be able to flow with the discussion. And I'm happy that I'm able to lay bare all this. I've been a victim of Nigeria. I don't want my children to be victims of Nigeria. I don't want the younger generations of Nigerians coming after me to suffer this same thing. We should not have this type of Nigeria. This Nigeria should die. And I'm working hard to kill it so that we can get a new Nigeria that will work for all of us. Bye for now.